In 1887 Transylvania, Dr. Frankenstein reanimates a monster and the villagers arrive to kill them. Dracula wants his monster to bring back his kids to live, but Frank refuses. Dracula attempts to kill Frank as he calls Igor for help, but he is also against him. Dracula killed Frank and Frank's monster freed itself, who picked up Frank and ran toward the windmill. The villagers see this and set the building on fire. Dracula changes into a bat and attacks the villagers. It's too late and the building fell on the monster. Later in Paris, Van Helsing, a monster hunter, goes to catch a Hyde named Dr. Jekyll. Hyde attacks Van and after a long fight, Van manages to kill him and returns in human form. Van has been ordered by the Vatican to destroy Dracula. That assignment doesn't make him happy. He is tired of killing monsters for the church, only to be branded by the public as a murderer with a price on his head. He also wishes that he had back his memories, something that was taken away from him due to his previous sins. Cardinal Genet explains that this assignment is important because, 450 years ago, a Transylvanian knight named Valerius the Elder promised God that his family would never rest nor enter heaven until they vanquished Dracula. However, Dracula still lives, but only two of Valerius' descendants, Princess Anna and Prince Velkin, remain. The Valerius family is running out of time, and the church is committed to saving their souls. So, armed with only a scrap of a picture, rings of garlic, holy water, a silver stake, a crucifix, an automatic crossbow, and Friar Karl, the Q of the Vatican, Van takes off for Transylvania. Just a few days ago, Velkin Valerius destroyed Dracula's werewolf with a silver bullet, although it cost Velkin his life when the werewolf grabbed him just before he fell over a cliff. Van's arrival in Transylvania is not well met, as Transylvanians don't like strangers. As Princess Anna challenges their business there, Van notices three harpies flying towards them. They are Dracula's three brides, Alira, Marischka, and Verona. They are trying to catch Anna. They succeed in carrying her off several times, but Van manages to get her back. He finally destroys Marischka by dipping his crossbow in holy water before shooting her with a dart. Oddly, the villagers are angry with Van for killing Marischka. They explain that the vampires only kill 1 or 2 a month to satisfy their needs. Now, thanks to him, they will kill more out of revenge. Dracula isn't happy about it either. Not only is he now short one bride, but a year ago, after setting up Victor Frankenstein with his laboratory, the villagers set Frankenstein's monster on fire, and Dracula needed the monster to give life to his offspring. Then, grateful that Van saved her life and destroyed Marischka, Anna takes Van and Karl back to the castle, where the Valerius family has lived for hundreds of years following Dracula's human death. That evening, Anna wants to go out vampire hunting, but Van, preferring to wait until daylight, sprays her with knockout spray. When Anna later awakens, the halls are dark and Van is nowhere to be found. Still, someone is there. It's a werewolf, but not just any werewolf. It's her brother, Velkin. Velkin was bitten by the werewolf on the way down, survived the fall, and now he is a werewolf, too. When the moon suddenly goes behind a cloud, Velkin changes from a werewolf back to himself just long enough to warn Anna. Then the moon comes out, and he changes back into a werewolf and lunges at her. Van appears and fires a shot at Velkin, but he leaps out the window. Van follows. Just when Van gets a clear shot at Velkin, Anna stops him to let him know that Dracula supposedly has a cure for werewolfism. Van agrees to help Anna look for the antidote and try to save her brother. Velkin's trail leads them to Castle Frankenstein, where Dracula, Igor, and the Dwergi, ugly little creatures that work for Dracula. They strapped Velkin to Dr. Frankenstein's machine and are trying to harness his life energy to animate Dracula's babies. Lightning strikes and Velkin's life force flows into the baby vampires who start to hatch. Thousands of them. Van starts shooting at them. Dracula gets mad and starts attacking Van. Alira, Verona, and the babies fly into the village so that the brides can teach the babies how to feed. Van stabs Dracula with the silver stake, but it doesn't work. Dracula calls him Gabriel, saying, "You're just like me, a 400 years old who is trying to escape from the truth." Van shows him the crucifix, but Dracula burns it and leaves. Anna finds the machine and tries to save her brother, but Velkin now loses his control. Outside, all the vampire babies start to explode. Because Anna causes to stop the animation. Dracula orders Velkin to kill Van and Anna. In their escape from Castle Frankenstein, Anna and Van fall into a subterranean cave where the Frankenstein monster has been hiding. Van shoots him with a tranquilizer dart but refuses to kill him because he can sense that the monster is not evil. Before he passes out, the monster explains that he is the key to Dracula's research, that he is the one thing that Dracula needs to bring life to his brood. Even though the last hatchlings died, Dracula has thousands more waiting for birth, he says. Suddenly, they notice that they are being watched by Velkin. Knowing that Dracula will soon know their whereabouts, Van tries to take the Frankenstein monster back to Rome for protection, but they are attacked by Verona, Alira, and Velkin. Van destroys Verona and gets a silver bullet into Velkin, who later dies in Anna's arms. Unfortunately, Velkin also managed to bite Van. Alira picks up Anna and flies her back to Dracula while Van, Carl, and the monster are forced to walk. They meet up with Alira again in Budapest and she invites them to a Halloween masquerade. Van sedates the monster and imprisons him in a church while he and Carl attend the ball. While dancing with Anna at the ball, Dracula attempts to persuade her to become his bride, but Anna refuses. Van saves Anna, but their escape is thwarted when Igor triumphantly brings in the Frankenstein monster. Everyone at the ball transforms into vampires and rushes to attack, forcing the group to jump through a window. When Van, Anna, and Carl return to Transylvania, Dracula has fled Castle Frankenstein and is unknown where he has gone. They went to the library and discovered that Dracula is actually Valerius the Elder's son. The entire problem began in 1462, when Dracula was murdered by the left hand of God. When Dracula died, he made a deal with the devil and was granted a new life that could only be sustained by drinking blood. Valerius the Elder traveled to Rome and bargained away his family's right to enter heaven until he killed Dracula. Dracula being his son, Valerius was unable to kill him. Anna reveals that her father spent hours staring at a particular picture. Perhaps that picture holds the key to the door? On the door is an inscription in Latin which Carl tries to read but cannot finish because a piece is missing. Van remembers the scrap of picture that Cardinal Genet gave him before he left Rome. Sure enough, it fits. When they read the inscription aloud, the picture changes into a mirror which allows them to walk through into the snowy fortress which is Dracula's true castle. They enter a long hallway in which the ceiling and walls are lined with pods containing vampire offspring waiting to be animated. They also see the Frankenstein monster encased in a block of ice with only his head sticking out. The monster sees Van and tells him that Dracula does have a cure for werewolfism. Van wonders why Dracula would have an antidote. Carl remembers seeing another painting that showed a werewolf killing a vampire. Now it all becomes clear. Only a werewolf can kill Dracula, and Van is scheduled to turn into one tonight at the stroke of midnight. The plan is to let Van transform and kill Dracula, and then Anna and Carl can inject him with the antidote at the last minute. While Van goes in search of Dracula, Anna and Carl force Igor to lead them to the antidote. Igor shows them a syringe stored in a jar of viscous liquid. Indeed, it is the antidote, but before they can retrieve it, Igor locks them in the room. Alira suddenly appears. Anna tosses the jar at her. It crashes on the floor, and the splash burns Alira's face. Anna tosses more of the liquid at the bars on the door. While Anna keeps Alira busy, Carl takes the antidote and goes looking for Van. Van has discovered Dracula's laboratory where Frankenstein monster has been hoisted to the roof. Lightning strikes and sends his life force down through the infant nursery. The baby vampires begin to awaken. Just as the Frankenstein monster gets free, Dracula changes into a bat and attacks Van. The monster is struck again by a bolt of lightning that sends him flying over the edge of the roof. On his way down, he manages to grab onto a cable and knock Igor off the bridge where he's been chasing Carl with a cattle prod. The monster swings through a window into the room where Anna and Alira are fighting. As the monster holds Alira at bay, Anna uses the cable to swing back to the laboratory. Alira catches up with Anna. Anna grabs a spike and thrusts it through Alira's heart. Just then the clock strikes midnight. Van changes into a werewolf and attacks Dracula. Just as Van has Dracula by the throat, the moon goes behind a cloud and Van changes back into himself. Dracula takes this moment to inform Van that it was Van who murdered Dracula back in 1462. Suddenly, the moon comes back out. Van turns into a werewolf again and chews up Dracula's neck. Dracula crumbles into dust as do all of his baby vampires. At that moment, Anna runs into the room with the antidote. Van leaps at her. Carl attempts to kill Van but the antidote works, and Anna dies, and Van is returning to himself. Van and Carl hold a cremation for Anna at sea. The monster departs by raft, and Helsing sees Anna's spirit reuniting with her family in heaven. Van and Carl ride off into the sunset together. Thanks for watching and make sure to press the subscribe button for more amazing videos.